Yes, friends. So as I always talk about that to my students, that whatever is you have to believe or your mind is satisfied, then you have to believe in Indian culture or Indian Vedas. Vedas says or Indian scriptures say that if you are satisfied, only then you have to believe in whatever is saying is there, whatever people are talking about. If you are not, believing logically is not true, that is not verified, that is not scientifically proved, then you are not to believe in that. Now, what is talked about this? They say that yukti yuktam bachograham. Scriptures, our Indian scriptures say, or Vedas say, or Vedic scriptures say that yukti yuktam bachograham. This is, I always talk to my students or my people, whosoever just talk to me. I always talk with them that whatever is consistent or you believe in or you are satisfied with, only then you have to believe it, even if it is said by, or you may say that anything which is very much favorable one, appropriate one, that should be accepted even if it comes from any source. Any source. This is how Vedas talked about. This is how scriptures, Indian scriptures talked about. Right? So whatever is appropriate or consistent or truthful or based on logic, that should be accepted. If it is not based on logic, then it should not be accepted, even if it comes from old people or very much scholarly person. Even then you are not to accept it. If it is not consistent, if it is not, based on logic, based on science, scientifically true, things can be accepted even if it comes from a child or from a parrot. They say from a parrot or a child. If parrot or child says that this is true, and that is, your mind thinks that this is 100% true, reason is logically true, then you can accept it. But if the same statement or any statement which is not consistent, which is not true, which is inconsistent, should not be accepted, even if it comes from an old man or from the Shukdev himself. Shukdev, who is Shukdev? Shukdev here is not parrot. Shuk means parrot, I know, but Shukdev is the son of Maharishi Vedvyas, who is very scholar, good scholar or best scholar considered in the Indian scriptures. Maharishi Shukdev or Shukdev, who was just innocent person, was very noble person, not considering any difference between ladies and gents or men and women. He was just taking them equal, not considering them different. He was very much noble person, very yogast person, you may say, based on in the yoga, very very highest position he was situated, very scholarly one. So they say that even if that scholar, best scholar of Indian scriptures, Sukdev, Maharishi Sukdev, even if he says, that should not be accepted if that is not scientifically true. Then what is talk about this? So this is being said in the Vedic scriptures, as Vedic scriptures say, as I always talk to my students, that please accept anything which is appropriate to you, which is true according to your knowledge, according to your scientific mind, according to your logic. If it is true, then you can accept it if it comes from a child or from a parrot. But if it is not true, is not logically true, is not consistent, then you are not to accept it, even if it comes from an old man or from Shukdevji himself. Shukdevji himself means Shukdev was very good scholar in Indian scriptures, or was son of Maharishi Vedvyas. Shukdev was son of Maharishi Vedvyas, and it is said that Maharishi Vedvyas was inferior to Shukdevji. Shukdevji, his son, was very superior one in logic, in everything. So he was greater than Maharishi Vyas, right? Maharishi Vyas, who has written Mahabharata. Writer of Mahabharata is Maharishi Vedvyas, and his son is Shukdevji himself. Shukdevji, as I have told, as it is said in the Indian scriptures, that Shukdev was very good scholar, best scholar among the Indian rishis. So even if the statement is said by Shukdevji, that should not be accepted if it is not true. So about this, one Sanskrit slok, Sanskrit verse is said that yukti yuktam bacho graham baladapi sukadapi. Yukti yuktam bacho graham baladapi sukadapi. Yuktihinam bachastyajam vardadapi sukadapi. They say yukti yuktam bacho graham. That yukti yukt means if any statement which is consistent or which is based on logic, based on or is true, can be accepted. Graham means can be accepted if it comes from a child or from a parrot. Baladapi sukadapi. Bala means child. Shukadapi. Baladapi sukadapi. Okay, baladapi sukadapi. They say baladapi means balak or child or shuk means parrot here. And yuktihinam vachastyajam vardadapi sukadapi. Or the statement which is not true. Yuktihinam meant inconsistent statement. Or the statement which is not true, that should not be accepted, even if it comes from yuktihinam vachastyajam vardadapi sukadapi. Vridha means old man, and sukadapi here, sukadapi means Sukdev ji himself. If Sukdev ji himself talks that this is to be accepted by you, but you think that this is not logically true, that should not be accepted. So this is however Vedicists say that anything which is based on logic, which is true, which is scientifically proved or scientifically believed, can be accepted, even if it comes from a child or from a parrot. But if the statement is not true, is not scientifically proven, is not logically true, is not consistent, is inconsistent, that should not be accepted, even if it comes from the old man, from any old man, very experienced person, or from Sukdev ji himself, or from Sukdev ji. Yukti yukto bachogram. Let me write it. Yukti yuktam. They say yukt. Yukti bachogram. Sorry. This is yuktim. Yuktim bacho graham. This is bacho graham. Yuktim bacho graham. Bacho graham. Baladapi sukadapi. Baladapi sukadapi. Baladapi sukadapi. That means that any statement, yukti yuktam bacho graham. Bacho means statement. Yukti yuktam means having a consistency or is true, is based on logic. Statement based on yukti yuktam bacho graham. Bacho means a statement based on yukti, based on consistency, or is consistent. Consistent statement should be accepted. Graham is accepted. Baladapi sukadapi. Even if it comes from a balak or a child, or sukadapi means parrot. Yuktihinam vachastyajam. Yuktihinam vachastyajam. Vachastyajam. Yuktihinam vachastyajam. Vardadapi sukadapi. Vardadapi sukadapi. This is how Vardadapi sukadapi. This is the one of the very good verse in the stated in the scriptures, Indian scriptures. This is one of the statements which I always talk to my students or my people, whosoever talks to me, that Indian scriptures are based on logic. If logically they are true, if Vedic astrology talks something 100% true, you should accept it. If you are not believing that this is not true, or you are your logic doesn't say that is true, no, do not accept it. We never force anybody just to accept it, whatever is said. But Western culture, Western things or Western scriptures, they talk that you have to believe this. If you cannot say, you cannot go against this statement of ours. So that is based on mental things. We are based on logic things. Indian scriptures are based on logic, and our scriptures always say that accept it if it is based on your logic, and if it is not based on your logic, is not accepted, is not true, is not consistent, you should not accept, even if it comes from an old man or from Shukdev ji himself. Yuktihinam bachistyajam vardadapi shukadapi. Even the statement is not true, is not based on logic, it should not be accepted, even if it comes from an old man. Vardadapi shukadapi. Vardadapi, Brad means here old man. Vardadapi shukadapi, or shuk. Here shukadapi. Here shuk means, and the first shuk is parrot, and second Shukdev ji. Second is Shukdev ji himself. Even if Shukdev ji himself say that you have to accept this statement of mine, but you think that this is not logically true, you should not be accept, or you should not accept that. This is how our Indian scriptures talk about, that whatever is logically true, that should be accepted. If it is not logically true, you have not to accept it. Consistent statement should be accepted, even if it comes from a child or from a parrot. An inconsistent statement should not be accepted, even if it comes from an old man or from Shukdev ji himself. Shukdev ji, as I have talked about, Shukdev was son of Maharishi Vedvyas. And it is said that Shukdev ji was so much noble person that he was not considering any difference between ladies and gents. And it is said that Maharishi Vedvyas was following Shukdev ji. Shukdev ji was naked. He was very, the person who was not accepting or not feeling anything between gents and ladies and this and that. Very noble person. That he was flying, or he was running. Okay, he was going ahead, and Maharishi Vedvyas was following him. He was naked. Shukdev ji was in the naked position, without clothes. He was clothless. He was just in the naked position and going away. And it is said that ladies were bathing in a pond. Okay, they were not having their clothes on. They were just bathing in the pond. Okay, on the tank, water tank. They were having bath, and those ladies just didn't notice Maharishi Shukdev. Shukdev just went away in the naked position. But afterwards, when Maharishi Vedvyas, he approached that tank, water tank, he was passing through that water tank, and then those ladies came out, and they just worn their clothes. Then Maharishi Vedvyas asked those ladies that why do you didn't wear your clothes when my son was going there, or was passing by this way, or he had passed away by this way, and then you were not noticed him. He was in the naked position, and you were not alarmed. You didn't wear your clothes, but now when I have come here, you are wearing your clothes. What is it? Why this is there? Those ladies were so much auspicious. They were so much learned one. They said that your son is very, very scholarly person. He has no any difference among ladies and gents, or women and men. He has no any difference. But you have the difference. You are not so much, you are not parallel to your son. You are not superior to your son. You have this difference in your mind. You are not so much a scholarly person as your son is. This is the difference between Maharishi Vedvyas and Shukdev ji. It is said in the scriptures that Shukdev is so much a scholarly person. He was so much highest person in the intelligence. He was not believing in ladies and gents and this and that. He was not having difference. He was so much a scholarly person, so much yogi type of person. Very at the highest category, very noble person, saintly person. He was so much saintly person, very ascetic person, ascetic type of person. Left the whole world. He was a scholarly person, saintly person. he abdicated the world and he was going away, and then Mahasi Bedivas was just pursuing him, asking him that please stop, come to house, don't go away to the jungle or to the forest area. But that was just leaving everything, going to the jungle just to study, okay, in the Astrology or something, okay, or doing penance, okay, or he was going to be ascetic person. This is how about Sukhdev ji it is being said. The Sukhdev ji was very highest person, a very noble person. He was having higher degree of intelligence. He was very scholarly, good scholar in the Indian scriptures, it is said. Okay, so because of that, this statement says that Sukhdev ji even if says that accept this statement of mine, but you think that that is not consistent statement, that is not according to your logic. Logic doesn't showing, or logic is not there in that statement. That should not be accepted. Okay, this is how Sukhdev ji, the second Sukhdev is denoting Sukhdev ji. First Sukhdev, first Shuka means Shuka Dapi, Shuk means parrot. First is parrot, Tota, and second is Sukhdev ji himself. So this is how, this is statement from Indian scriptures, Indian sloks or Indian verses, Indian Vedas or all these scriptures talked about this. This is how Indian culture is superior to any other logics. Okay, Indian scriptures say that you have to believe if it is true, if it is not true, not to believe in this. This is how Indian culture is talks about, okay, or is